we start the presentation, a quick disclaimer that in this webinar, what we are sharing is our observations regarding the market. It's not a trading or investment recommendation. So in case if you wish to execute any ideas, please take help from your financial advisor. Now coming to the markets, so it was a good week, I would say, because the global markets were very volatile, especially the US markets. But we managed not only to hold higher, but also to gain nearly 1.5% in both Nifty and Sensex. And you can see that on the sectoral front also, almost all the indices participate in the move. In fact, the Lagarde, like IT, also witnessed decent recovery in the last two trading session, which helped the IT index to close higher. In fact, it was the top gainer from the sectoral pack, and followed by media, banking, metals, and pharma. So it was a kind of week wherein almost all the sectors contributed to the move and helped the index to inch toward the upper band of the consolidation that we're going to talk about in details once we're going to talk about index. So, but in the meanwhile, when it comes to stock specific performance, again it was a mixed pack. Here you can see that the gainers like cement, obviously they outshine the others, because except today's session, like on Friday we saw some profit taking in some of the cement names. But despite of all this profit taking, Shree Cement managed to gain nearly 15% in this week so far. And Adani Ports, Techem, BPCL, Axis Bank, these are some of the top gainers from the Nifty 50 basket. At the same time, profit taking in Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, Nestle, Tata Consumers, Britannia, they were like slightly on the back foot in the last week. Now coming to what we expect from the markets. So, last week we discussed about that 17,300, 17,800 is the range that, currently we are witnessing in Nifty. And we finally managed to surpass the upper band, though I wouldn't say it's a very decisive, breakout, because, we opened higher in today's session. It happened yesterday that we almost, closed near to the upper band of the consolidation band. Today we opened gap up, taking clues from the global markets, but profit taking in the higher levels trimmed the gains. We ended marginally with the modest gains, but the tone is definitely positive. There's no doubt about that. And considering that the global markets are also recovering, we are anyway seeing buying interest across the sector. So we are expecting now Nifty to inch toward this previous swing high. This previous swing high close to around 18,100. So earlier, we had this hurdle around 18,000 mark, but we believe that this time around it's not going to be a major hurdle for the index. So next hurdle could be closer to around 18,100, and then next close to around 18,350 to 400 levels. So that is how we are seeing market progressing in days to come and next week. What if there'll be any profit taking? Then 700, 650 first support, and then 500. This is the 20 days of exponential moving average, which is going to act as a critical support in case if there'll be any profit taking. But indications are in the favor that we first inch toward 18,100. The possibility is high, considering the kind of participation that we are seeing in the market. So the tone is positive, the bias is bullish. We have seen a breakout from the consolidation range. So all factors are pointing towards this positive momentum to extend further. Now comes the real star, which is the banking index. The outperformance continued for the for yet another week. Though the Nifty gained nearly 1.5%, banking index gained nearly 3% in this week. So it's clear that 40,200, the area which we were eyeing earlier as a target, it not only surpassed the same, but closed decisively above that mark as well. So now what to expect from the banking index? So we don't have any major hurdle as such, when it comes to the banking index, but yeah, this area, you can see this area from where we saw the last time, banking index corrected, 41,000, 41,500. That area is going to act as a resistance. But on the closing basis, we are near to the, record close. So all factors are still pointing, be it like the kind of buoyancy that we are seeing from the private banking names like ICICI, Axis, SDFC, twins, they are also seeing decent recovery. Kotak, we are not seeing that kind of traction, but yeah, the bias is still on the positive side. So indications are in the favor that this positive bias is here to stay when it comes to the banking pack. 39,800 is going to be the critical area. This line you can see earlier, which was acting as a resistance, should act as a support now. So that would remain a critical pivot to maintain this buoyancy, to maintain this positivity in the banking index. So again, the focus should be more on the private banking names. It's not that the PSU are not participating, but we need to be very selective. Like SBI, we discussed about SBI last week as a top idea to consider. So it did well alongside with ICICI. And this week also we feel that SBI and Indian Bank from the PSU basket, they are comparatively stronger. Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, we do see a bit of a participation every now and then, but the decisiveness that we have in the SBI is something which is in parallel to what we are seeing in the private banking space. So the focus first should be on the private banking names like ICICI, Axis, and then SBI from the PSU pack. So as we discussed, 39,800, as long as we are holding up the same, look for buying opportunity in the banking space as well. Now, since the bias is positive, what to expect from the stock specific front? So important aspect is that it's not only the index majors which are participating in the move now, it's the broader market. We are seeing decent traction. So mid cap were anyways, trading in par with the frontliners earlier. And we are still seeing the same trend continuing. The broader markets have strengthened further. The small cap is also, gaining some traction, though it's still, far behind, in comparison to what we have seen and what we are, observing when it comes to the index majors and mid cap space. But still, one needs to be selective in this space. And Bharat Forge is something that we like, from the mid cap basket. So you can see that post this breakout, consolidation breakout, we had this phase of profit taking, and it rebounded very sharply from taking support from that trend line area. So that what it indicates is that this zone, this trend line zone, is now acting as a very strong buying area for the stock. And a next breakout above something above like 800 levels would help the stock to inch towards a newer high in weeks to come. So Bharat Forge definitely looks very strong. So even if there will be any profit taking in the market, we feel that the stock should outperform. Now Concor, this stock is also trading at the record highs. But what is interesting about this stock is you can see the kind of consolidation that we were seeing for almost like 3-4 months in a very broad range, close to around 580 to 720 was the range. And this week, with a very decisive volume bar, we have seen a breakout. So though it's a highly volatile counter, so obviously one needs to be extra cautious when it comes to a trading bet. But in case if we accumulate in a range, like let's say that we have this upper band close around 720 and it's currently quoting at 750, so this 30-point band can be considered as an accumulation zone. And this 660, 680, this area should be considered as a stop loss in case if somebody is willing to take as a long trade. Because this kind of volume and price action clearly indicates that this move is not going to fizzle out anytime soon, and the possibility of the stock inching towards 900 plus zone is quite high. So Bharat Forge and Concor looks very strong on both daily and weekly charts. Now, what if there'll be any profit taking? And even if what we are seeing is that some of the sectors are still reeling under pressure. So IT, yes, we have seen a respite, but pharma pack is still not participating in the move. So we have mentioned this multiple times in our earlier webinars also, that Sun Pharma and Cipla, if we exclude these two names, most of the pharma names, they are still reeling under pressure. So be it Oro Pharma, Dr. Reddy, Deviz, Biocon, Natco, all these stocks either they are witnessing a decline or trading closer to the 52 weeks low. So we believe the kind of traction that we are seeing in the aggressive pack, chances of any strong recovery seems very unlikely. So Oro Pharma still look weak to us. We have discussed this about this stock in the previous webinars also. So we maintain our negative view on Oro Pharma. So in case if there will be any shorting opportunity in the market, you can consider Oro Pharma for that. Now, last on the list, MCX. So it's a new addition to the list because of late we have seen a very strong recovery across the platforms and stock related to the uh, uh, industry. So, but we are not seeing the similar kind of attraction in MCX so far. In fact, the trend is down, and you can see that's trading below all its major moving averages on the weekly charts also, and it formed a red candle in the this week also. So all indications are in the favor that it might consolidate in a range with upper band around 1320, 1340 area, and downside close to around 1140, 1120 zone. So again, in case if it witnesses any bounce, it could be considered as a shorting opportunity around the resistance area. So just to sum it up, our bias is positive. We are eyeing 18,100 in the index, in Nifty index, and close to around 41,500 in the banking index. There could be some intermediate consolidation, profit-taking phases, but we maintain our positive bias as long as we are holding these critical areas. When it comes to Nifty, 17,500 and 39,800 for the banking index. Similarly, when it comes to stock-specific approach, Bharat Forge, Concor looks very strong to us, and on the weak side, Oro Pharma and MCX. So that is all from the presentation part. I'll just shoot the quick poll. So please fill this poll, and then we'll start with the Q&A session. So in case if you have any questions related to the observation that we have shared regarding Nifty, banking index, or any other stock, so you can feel free and post your question in the Q&A box. But before that, please quickly fill this feedback so that we can start with the Q&A session. If you are done with the poll, you can start posting your question in the Q&A box. Meanwhile, rest, please quickly fill this feedback form, and then we'll start with the Q&A. Please quickly fill this feedback so that we can start the Q&A. All right, so we'll start. The question from Navneet Agarwal. So, given the upward momentum movement in the international gas prices and revision of the domestic gas prices due in August, what is our view on gas marketing companies? So yes, Navneet, we have seen decent traction. I would say a recovery in the gas distribution stocks. And as a disclosure, we have recommended one such stock like IGL to our clients also. So we are very bullish when it comes to IGL, MGL in the short term. And so yes, this gas space can definitely be considered. But again, one needs to be strict with the stop losses, because we have seen the breakout failures also in past in some of these names. So for that reason, one needs to be slightly selective. And as we have said, we have IGL as a recommendation, which is already running. No stock specific question, please. Okay, so Pashupati have asked the long-term support for MCX and Auropharma. So since we've talked about these stocks, so obviously we can talk about the major support areas and resistance areas. So Pashupati, this zone close to around 470.75 is going to be the critical support when it comes to Auropharma. And for MCX, this zone comes close to around 1080, 1090. Okay, so next question is on cement sector. So cement, Chandrasekhar, we are seeing decent traction across the board. So in fact, we all know that ACC Ambuja, they were leading when it comes to the recovery in the cement pack, followed by the other cement majors. But in today's trade, we saw some profit taking at the higher level. So there's a possibility that we might see some consolidation in these frontliner name. But in the mid-cap basket, Ramco Cement and JK Cement, these are some of the names which still looks interesting to us, which looks firm comparatively, even in the short run. So in case if you wish to go ahead with any fresh buying, you can consider these names. No stock specific question, please. Anything related to any sector and markets in general, definitely you can ask. If the time allows, then we'll come back to the stock specific question also. But for now, please restrict question to the sector. So our next question is from Mayank Chauhan on auto sector. So Mayank, broadly, this recovery started with a rebound in the auto space first. So, and we have been seeing this, consistently panning out for top performing stocks, especially M&M, which is trading at the record highs. Then we have Eicher, TVS, which are leading the pack. So almost, all these stocks except Tata Motors, which is not participating in line with the others, almost all these stocks from the auto basket have done well. And in fact, now we are seeing the related sector, ancillaries, tires, they are also, batteries, they are also getting decent traction. So one needs to be selective in this space now. And, Maruti, Eicher, M&M, TVS, Hero MotoCo also, because we have not seen any move yet, but we expect this consolidation to end soon. So these are some of the names which one may consider, when it comes to the fresh bats in the auto pack in the near future. Amandeep, have question on pharma space. Can we go fresh long in pharma? So Amandeep, it's underperforming, but selectively, yes, as we've shared that Sun Pharma, Cipla. In fact, we have recommended Cipla also to our clients of late. So selectively, yes, you can consider a few names, but I would recommend, especially in the market like this, wherein we are seeing traction more in the rate sensitive, means aggressive counters. So these stocks might not yield the similar kind of results. So in case if your view is long term and you want to accumulate, that is different story. But when it comes to trading, I feel that one should stick with the sectors which are leading from the front instead of looking opportunity in pharma and IT. It's not that they're not going to witness any rebound. It's just that the underperformance might continue. Prem, can you please elaborate on your question, because it's difficult to comprehend that. What's your question? Is ki Bank Nifty will rise in the future on Nifty? It means, are you saying that the weightage of the banking index is going to increase? That it's very difficult to comment. In case we are seeing that the banking index is going to help the Nifty to inch higher, that is what we have been discussing, that the outperformance has been continuing in the banking space for quite some time now, and we expect this trend to continue because we don't have any major hurdle as such, when it comes to the banking index. Plus, all the banking majors, they are doing exceptionally well. They are trading at the record highs already. So that quantum is not going to subside anytime soon, is what charts are indicating, and fundamentally also, things are in the favor. So we believe that this quantum, this momentum is here to stay when it comes to the banking index, and since it holds considerable weightage in the Nifty, the banking financials hold nearly 38% in the bank Nifty index. So that would definitely going to support the rally in the Nifty also. So we have a question from Mr. Gopichand also, that in the banking sector. So banking, as we were discussing, Mr. Deshmukh, is that the buoyancy is what we are seeing in select sectors led by auto, banking, financials, and FMCG. So we reiterate our view that after a prolonged period of consolidation or underperformance, banking is catching up now, and we expect this buoyancy, this positivity to continue further. So it won't be I won't be surprised in case if we're going to see the banking index inching towards the record high in the near future, and inch toward 42,000 plus zone. But more importantly, as we have said, that private banking names, select private banking names like ICICI, Axis, HDFC Twins, Bajaj Twins, alongside with the select PSU names like SBI, should be considered instead of looking for those beaten down PSU names. Union Bank, IOB, for any recovery. So stick with the top performers. We are very bullish on when it comes to banking space. All right, so we have answered all the queries when it comes to sectoral and market related. So we'll answer just a couple of queries on stocks also. And I'll select based on which could benefit all, means stocks which are actually very strong. So Dixon, we have Amandeep have asked about Dixon. The Dixon, yes, Amandeep, we have seen a very strong surge in this stock in the recent past. After a prolonged period of underperformance, and now we are eyeing close to around 4700, 4750. That could be the first hurdle, and then you can expect this stock to retest 4900, 5000 zone also. So you can continue to hold longs. You can buy fresh also. 4400 should be your stop in case if you're willing to take any position. Yeah, so this is something important, which Mr. Sheel have mentioned, that the inflation is still high and the equity markets are also not showing any sign of weakness. So the reason behind this is that market has this works in the discounting mechanism. So what markets are anticipating that we have already seen a peak when it comes to inflation. So that is not worrying us. The main vector is now growth. So whether we are going to see this earning revival and the economy, posting a decent number when it comes to GDP. So that is something which market is now eyeing it. So inflation has taken a backseat now, is the growth perspective, and considering that the global situation is bad, but still we are doing comparatively better. That's why we are seeing this market performing. And slightly, I would say it's short-term liquidity driven also, because FIs, after staying away for long, are again now seeing buying. We are seeing buying from the foreign investors. So that psychologically adds to the buoyancy. So all these factors put together is helping the index to hold higher despite the inflation figures still at the higher levels. Okay, so yeah, with this we have answered all the queries. So thank you everyone for joining in, and next time, same day, means next Friday, we are going to join and talk about markets like we did today. So till then, goodbye, take care. We can end.